Look, I think the team's doing really well. Yeah, sure, we've had some injuries, we've had some problems, but look, the likes of Randall and Jared Allen, they've had some really good scores this week. So, yeah, I think we're doing really good. The team is looking really, really competitive, and we're going to give Darcy a real run for his money to round out the week. So, yeah, I'm actually quietly confident. I think we might actually ruffle some feathers and see what we can do.
What time is it, Matthew?
Oh, it's time to make him
pay.
Oh, we're doing these ones everywhere. Yes.
That's $1 per crab.
Well, crab shuffle. Yeah,
that's right. That's right. Welcome all. Glad you could join us. It is episode 4. Hitting KPIs of the Make Him Pay NBA Fantasy Podcast, brought to you by Squeaks Fantasy Basketball. We are your hosts, Matthew Cowie.
Oh, pleasure as always. And we've got the big dog, Mr. Primetime Purcell.
Thank you. How are you?
Good, mate. Good. Very keen after the cold intro, which I thought was a bit of fun, but very keen to put week 3 behind me. Did not end very well, and in fact didn't actually start very well either. It was pretty tough from pole to pole, really. So yeah, I mean, Darcy's team we were talking about last episode it's just stacked. It's got some serious firepower. So that was pretty tough, but otherwise another solid week of basketball, mate. It's been really good stuff going on. Yeah, what about yourself, mate? What did you think?
Yeah, I'm the same as you, mate. I'm in the losers category for week 3. Solid performance, but our good friend Jake has managed to get some good performances out of some odd players, which we will touch on later on in this show. But yeah, in the losers category, first time for 25-26. I'm not happy, but hey, I'll take 2-1 over 0-3. So let's just keep it at that.
Exactly right. I'm sitting in a very, very unpretty 1-2. Got a win over Adam in the first week, and it's just steadily gone downhill.
Look
from there.
Look, and you've just said about Darcy's team and getting the superstar treatment from him. If it makes you feel any better, I've got him in week 4. So
you do, and we'll talk about that later on, I imagine. But I think we were saying in the league group chat earlier today, you're going to be the first one to cop what we all call in the league. You get the death lineup. It's like the first time he's got his best players all playing on the one day.
I know. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Good start by the both of us. So I think it's fairly even Stevens. But yeah, not looking forward to that 7-man death lineup. These are the things you hate with a balanced roster.
Yeah, that's right.
You cross
a lot of
your
copium
fingers
that
your mid-range guys are going to perform over the rest of the week to cope with that. So yeah.
Well, look, we can be real salty and petty about it and just say if he doesn't crack 200 points for the day, then it's a failure.
Yeah.
And that's not really a very good lineup at all. So the pressure's on him, really. He's got to step up.
To be honest, I'll be calling him a failure all week just to make sure that he really knows that he's a failure, even though he's probably got the team to go 8-0 to start the season. But hey.
I noticed in the chat actually earlier and made a bit of a comment because it's nearly a month into the season. People getting an idea of how good or maybe not so good their team has turned out to be, and the shit talking and just general toxicity in the group chat has been wonderful. There's the people that are happy are real happy, and the people that aren't are just trying, myself included. I think TJ and I are doing the heavy lifting, and EO, I suppose, but we're just trying to drag everyone down to our level in the cellar dwellers, just so they can share in our suffering as to how the season's gone so far. But outside of that, yeah, some ripper basketball going on. So A lot to look forward to, mate. What are we? What are we going to go through this episode?
We'll go through a few things this episode. Before we get cracking on that, just want to remind everyone that we are on YouTube at Squeaks as our handle. So yeah, throw us a subscribe, throw us a like when you can, and chuck in some comments if you're interested in finding out a little bit more about the way we play fantasy NBA. We would love to chat, love to answer some questions, and if you're interested in some of the matchups, we can go through them in more detail. Also on Instagram at Squeaks Fantasy, and if you have a tendency to email, and like some of us in the group still have a Hotmail, we're at.
Holding on to that one.
Squeaks at Yahoo. Look, all from the 90s. All those hot.
All from the 90s. Look,
all from the 90s.
It's not my first ever Hotmail. That one has long since was left behind in the 2000s. That was what a moment in time.
Yeah.
And look, for those of us,
mine's still there.
Obviously, it could look. Maybe mine is. I'd have to try and find it. For those of us probably a little bit more archaic than that, who would prefer actually sending in mail, we're working on getting a postal address. We're probably going to secretly have it sent to our Commissioner Eric's address without him realising, so he can deal with all of that. We'll get a snail mail outlet ready for him to deal with.
And while we're doing that, you know, there's a pigeon coop next door to my place. You can send it by carrier pigeon, because I'm sure I've got easy access to the pigeons.
Carrier pigeon, smoke signal. I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff we could be doing. So a lot of potential for communication.
Exactly. And one more thing, I noticed your shirt again. Are you rocking what I think you're rocking?
I think so. Absolutely, I'm rocking what you think I'm rocking. It's a very fine pickup truck, certain design here. Actually, which leads me to ask you the same question. I'm getting some Miami Dolphins colours there. That's not one of the special edition Dixon tops, is it there?
Oh, Dixon, it sure is. For those following at home, this segment is not brought to you by Dixon, but
no, absolutely not.
More than happy to have Dixon contact us, or to answer our many emails on where
maybe that's the pod. Maybe that's our plug now. So this segment could be brought to you by Dixon Flannel. Could be. You know, let's just open that opportunity there for our many millions and billions of viewers.
That's right.
Prime. I mean, look, we may as well actually shamelessly give them a plug, because they've got a mad sale going on at the moment for Black Friday. You've stocked up.
I have stocked up.
You've had a massive haul.
To answer your first question, yes, this is the 1972 undefeated season Miami Dolphins Dixon flannel. So, yes, I proudly rock this, and I had to wear it today for reasons known to a few in the league. Somehow, Miami beat Buffalo.
Look, I mean, what better reason to wear it? If they had a New York Giants designed one, I wouldn't be wearing it right now, because we're probably not going to win another game for the rest of the season. But if they had one, I would have bought one, because it would be so fantastic. But look, Prime and I are massive fans of the brand, the quality, the fit. Service is always good. The designs, they've always got new stuff coming out every other week. And, they do at the moment. Got a 20% off sale, I think, store-wide until the start of December. So if you use our fake coupon code at checkout, put in Squeaks Fantasy, you will get 0% off your order.
But you will automatically get the 20% off from the sale, so you're in front.
So basically it's a 20% off code. What more do you want from us? We're 4 episodes in and we've got fake sponsors. We're actually working for these. Like they don't even know we exist, but soon enough. So big thanks to Dixon for not knowing we exist. Look, as I've said before, whether it's flannel or bamboo, Dixon, they've got a top for you.
That's right. Oh, mate. Oh, born.
Is Eric the marketing guy in the group, or is it me?
Yeah, well, I'd like to think of him as. I'd like to think of him as the behind the scenes guy, where you are the face.
Yes. I'll be the face. He can be the puppeteer.
All right. Yeah, we do have a few things.
All the strings up here.
That's right. That's right. Just like normal.
Well, of course.
We do have a few things to get through today. We've got the first instalment of Constitution Chronicles. So we're going to go through a key component of our Constitution, break down the facets of that that section. We will be talking about the RDs for our league, which are the rookie contracts. We'll follow that up with a bit of news, injuries, and week 3 performances. And I'm sure, Cowie, you can drop a top 10 in there just to put sprinkle some context around the performances for the players within our league. And we'll probably finish off with a bit of EO's Lucky Lottery, or what we'd like to say is the Wheel of Misfortune.
The Wheel of Misfortune, and I do believe after the slander we put on Brett's name in our last episode with his inaugural Make Him Pay award, I believe we may have some sneaky correspondence from him that we could share in this episode. Ooh. Just to help him. Possibly he may try and justify his actions, which is a pretty tall order. But you mentioned context before. Like I'm really big on that with the pod and what we're doing, just to help people get a better understanding of what goes on in our league, specifically with scoring and who's valuable, who isn't, and all the intricacies and the subtle details that we have that make it so special. So
that's right.
By all means, mate, get stuck into it. So cool, we're going through the rookie contracts for starters.
Constitution Chronicles, RD contracts and bidding. So, look, we are a efficiency-based points league, so some may see that as quite simplistic, but there is many different facets of the scoring and rules or areas of this format. And I was looking for that word. I was going to say something else, but format will do. Where we build a uniqueness and a more strategic sort of way of playing. Now, the rookies are a big component of that. I think I mentioned in an earlier episode. So the rule as it stands is in round 1 before we hit the auction draft, in reverse order, accounting for draft lottery results. We select a rookie from the preceding NBA rookie class. So for 2025-26 Squeaks League, we hit up the 2025 list of rookies for the NBA, and you must, as a manager, select one of those players drafted in the 2025 rookie class. Now, it puts an element of dynasty within our standard or within our points scoring league. Now, that is how we get them onto our roster. It is built that way with the lottery to avoid things like tanking and hitting generational talents that may crop up, because there is some financial gain to be had from investing only $1 in some very generational talent. We're talking the likes of Luka Doncic, we're talking the likes of Cooper Flagg, we're talking the likes of Wemby, those guys. And to be honest, there's actually a lot of talent that is coming out of this draft. All right, so that's the first component, the draft.
Yep.
The second component is length of contract. So to justify the investment, we have kept the contracts at $1 up until restricted free agency. So you have the right to keep your rookie or your RD for a 2-year period. There is a player or a manager option on the 3rd year, which you can continue to keep that rookie for an extra year. And then on the 4th year, we go into restricted free agency or what we call RD bidding. So that bidding allows anyone in the league to provide a silent bid to a contract for a contract that is that they want to provide in the following year for that RD. So, that,
very fond memories.
So there you go. So that's the two big components of how we acquire an RD, and also length of time and investment that we can keep those RDs for.
Look, from a longevity standpoint, like a great breakdown. Prime, of course. I think it's one of the biggest parts of how we do what we do, and it's from a longevity standpoint, it's been awesome because yes, if you draft well and find a good rookie, if you have a good, pick in that draft based on how well or poorly you do the year before. If you pick someone that is, your potential to get some really, really good value, because don't forget, salary cap is $200 for us each season. A lot of potential to get some lasting benefit out of some of these guys for really, the lowest possible spend, basically. But the way it starts to come up with those team options for that potential fourth year, it's a really fun time of the season, I think, because I think from immediately after the season finishes, basically we start going through those whoever's going to be eligible for the following season, and it's a lot of fun. So having people in the league, they'll message you privately what their desired contract length and the value would be, and then there's a certain time cap on that. That's always pretty fun. We all then reconvene in the group chat and go, right, Ryan's actually submitted the largest bid for Joe Bloggs, and it's going to be yay amount long and this amount of money. Cowie's got to decide if he wants to match it. And I've probably got, I would say, probably one of the better examples of that in recent years, until such time as Wemby comes up for his option in a couple of years, but still a little ways away. I was the one that drafted Doncic for $1 and loved all 3 years of that, and coming up for fourth year, that got really costly really quickly, but everyone knew it was going to be because he's such a hot ticket item, and we can see what he's doing here at the moment. The guy's an absolute stud.
And what was that winning bid? What was that winning RD bid for Luka on his fourth year that you did not match?
I did match.
Oh, you
actually.
did match. Sorry, you did match.
Did I? No, I did match. I tell a lie, I did. No, I did. And
yes.
I turned that into a couple of players down the line because I didn't know how to draft at the time and didn't pick a particularly good team.
Right, let me rephrase the question. What was that contract in year 4 that Doncic managed to be acquired for?
That resulting trade later after that. That's a story for another time about my ineptitude. A poetic number, really. CJ bid $77. Obviously his jersey number.
He did.
And boy, oh boy, that was tough. But he was just so productive and had been since day dot when he got drafted by the Mavs.
It was fate.
That was tough. It was, but it was so tough. And look, did a video and have some timelines and deadlines and add a bit of suspense and music and stuff to it. So we try and add a bit of production value where we can.
Exactly.
But yeah, that was tough. I paid the price big time. I got made to pay.
That's right. You certainly did. But I think that was very poetic, the $77. And look, I feel like it was worth it. And you do get made to pay in these leagues, but it does pan out quite similar to the NBA, where you think you're paying a lot of money at a certain point in time, but the way things evolve, that 77 doesn't look too bad as you proceed through the season and then the following season. So, it's a bit of a balancing act with some of the amounts that we decide to throw out for these players.
I would say too, probably just in the general timeline of the league and how long we've been going for, Luka would have been one of the more seminal moments in terms of player value. I feel like around that kind of time, you had Doncic suddenly going for 77. We were looking at, I remember Adebayo made such a fuss in one draft because it was like in the $80 range or something, and we were losing our minds. And here we are, Luka now on his latest contract, and CJ finally got him for $100.
I know.
And the value has just skyrocketed for these guys. The premium players, people are spending, whether it be appropriately, but they're not afraid to spend big money on some of these guys. If they've got the ability to back it up through the draft.
That's right.
But yeah, to circle back though, that remains and still is a super, super fun part of our league because that longevity standpoint, you've got this rookie project almost. You want to stick with them. I mean, you need to really because it's just such a cop out if you don't.
Mm-hmm.
But picking the right guy, watching them grow, and if you manage to get someone that actually contributes and regularly and becomes one of your better players,
yeah, exactly.
It's a steal.
Exactly. And I just want to add to that. So there's two components to that is the engagement for this format throughout the season. So a lot of the rules and a lot of the parts of the constitution that we've built in over the years have been for maximum engagement. So if you decide you want to embark on a Squeaks format when you're playing your NBA fantasy league, it's built in a way that there's almost a whole year round engagement for certain aspects. There's a build up to the draft, there's off-season trading, there's and keeper trading, so to speak. There's the draft lottery. There is the season itself. There's trade periods within the season, and then we're talking about off-season RD bidding and so forth, which just extends that season out so that there's something to do for majority of the year, and it keeps managers engaged and active so that people aren't just losing. Not losing faith with the league, but losing interest. Like big chunks of time where you go, okay, I'm not going to be engaged for this 6-month period, so I'll just switch it off and then forget it's there, and suddenly it's a season, and you're kind of chasing tail to get back into it. We kind of promote this constant engagement.
Look, if I lose this week, I'll drop my bundle. Like that's equally equivalent. No, not really. But look, you're exactly right. But it feeds into how much of a 24/7, 365 media circus the NBA has become compared to so many of the other US sports and the major leagues around the world. There is something happening every day in basketball. And we're able to feed off of that. And absolutely, the level of engagement has been great.
Yeah, it has. And look, to really nut out a good selection in that rookie draft, you need to have been across a reasonable amount of college basketball. You need to understand where these guys are getting drafted in terms of their potential usage, their potential minutes, who's in front of them on the depth chart, because there is some significant risk attached to picking a rookie. So you need to be aware of where these players are going, what teams they're going to go to, and how much of a license they'll have to shoot, to control the ball, just to be part of the offense. And if you don't get that right, you could have a guy who may be good in year 2, year 3, or year 4, but is absolutely rubbish for a year and a half, and it just sinks your fantasy team, or requires you to hit the waivers and drop them. So you need to find that balance between early performance and upside. So it's not pure dynasty in a way, but you need to find that balance, and that's the tricky part.
And how long you want to ride the wave. I mean, I've certainly fallen foul of dropping a guy and then a year or two later someone picks him up cheap because he's finally started to get some solid minutes. Had I held on to him longer?
Exactly.
Sure, but it depends on how much you can afford to. If you want to at least ride it out with some of them, can you afford to keep him there?
Correct.
And it's not going to have too much of a hit with your productivity as a team, as a whole. But there's so much to think about. Absolutely.
Yeah, that is, and it's interesting that you say that. Good segue into the investment opportunity within the RDs. We brought in a rule a couple of years ago to counteract the time needed in some instances, and the coaches' decisions that are made on a regular in the NBA for these rookies. A lot of them don't get the time that early. You do need to look at where they're going and what their who their coach is and so forth. But there is instances where a rookie will get injured. Yes, we have an IR slot, but sometimes it's that can clog up an IR spot in a league that gets a lot of load management and injuries as it is. There is coaches that don't trust rookies.
I was going nuts about that last week. Injuries are rife at the minute still.
Exactly, and as a result, you may have doubling down on that. You may have coaches that, DNCP or DCP, whatever the acronym is nowadays, didn't play coach's decision. So you've got some coach trust issues as you're building into these some of these teams, and you'll see very limited minutes from some of these guys. Now, we've introduced a rule which is basically retention of bird rights for RD players. So we want to retain competitiveness through the league. So we're giving managers the opportunity to retain rights to RDs on that particular RD contract, even if they're facing a scenario where the coach won't play them. They're getting limited minutes, or they're getting reallocated to the G League regularly, and they're popping back and forth, and it's taking up a roster spot. So we want to promote that investment. We want to promote that cheap contract and players holding on to them. So if your RD is effectively coach's decision, if your player incurs a season-long IR, we can drop that from our roster onto the waivers, but retain bird rights. The other option that can occur in is if you have a player that has had multiple did not play coach's decision, or playing a very small amount up to 8 minutes for three consecutive games, then we have the ability to drop that RD player to the waivers and still retain rights. So what that means is they're effectively yours. If another manager wants to select them off the waiver, they can. You have the ability to match the waiver bid on that selection and pull them back onto your roster if they start playing again. So it's just acknowledging the fact that a manager invested in the RD draft on that player, and not just throwing foul to a couple of coaches' decisions and burning that overall investment straight away, because we want to keep them. I think it brings together the fabric of our competitive league.
100%, absolutely. And look, we're really big fans of the fabric of the league, and fabric in particular. Definitely not sponsored by Dixon Flannel. Particular types of fabrics that they have, such as flannel, bamboo, various other styles for your wardrobe. But it's as close as you can kind of get. We're not actually in the front office for these teams. It's as close as we can get to kind of having some investment in the growth of a player in the really early stages of their career. Super fun, because it's that little extra bit of investment ownership that you have. And some of these guys over the years now in the chat, some of them have got nicknames, reputations, the legend of certain players. They get really sentimental with them.
They do. They do.
It's
my
all
guys.
Part of the fun.
My guys. Yeah. Pretty sure Kane has 13 of them on his roster, doesn't he?
He does, 100%. He still managed somehow to add Blake Griffin into the Yahoo database, even though he's long retired, and he's got him on his roster somewhere. Such is the love he has for that man. But look, I love it. It's absolutely one of the biggest parts. It's always, because of the way that we do it, we kick off the draft with it, and everyone's there. They're dialed in. Who's going to pick who?
Yep.
Look, and if you get onto one, it just adds all this extra flavour to the season, because it's just an extra bit of excitement when, as opposed to, obviously wanting to, the way that we're doing it with the bird rights and stuff like that, promoting the incentive to retain the player so that you're not just, dumping them because point blank, if they're a young guy and they're hardly playing, you will objectively have someone, whether they be ranked 300th in the NBA, they'll still score more points than certain rookie guys that you happen to draft if they just haven't had the minutes. You want to keep them because there's incentive to do that, and it's worthwhile. Absolutely. So
and a lot of pods out there that follow projections and scoring for players through year 1, year 2, year 3 will tell you that there is significant jumps in a lot of these players in sophomore years and year 3 as they develop an understanding, acclimatisation of pace to the league, and things slow down for them. Things get a little bit more, normal, comfortable, and as a result of that erratic scoring, the high turnovers, the missed shots, all those things, the trust from coaches tends to subside with a lot of players, and you really see that that come through in those following years. And you want to be able to say, I can see that guy developing into someone like that, and just the benefit of having that guy on your roster for $1 in year 2, year 3 is fantastic. And then then we'll see how much you are made to pay in year 4.
See how much you're made to pay, and look, we just touched on Wemby before. CJ's such a fine example. The depth of talent he had for such a minimal spend for his keepers to go into the draft, it really does set you up massively.
Oh, it does.
So there's so much, very worthwhile.
On that RD silent bidding, there is a lot of strategy at play in those bids as well. So you can bid on multiple contracts and decide who you want to bring through as a keeper. You can bid on every RD that's up for bidding in that season, pull them all onto your roster and then on-trade them before the season starts if you really want to. It's completely up to you. There's different strategies played in that area where you don't want your opposition manager to take his RD at a cheap price. So you will quite often purposely, or a number of guys will purposely put in a bid which is high enough to, as we like to say, make him pay, so that he's so that it impacts his cap position for draft day. So there is a lot of games being played, and it's not just I would like that player, I'm going to bid on him. It is okay. What is that guy worth? What is the likely cap hit that that the manager's going to take him for if no one bids on him, or if a couple of people bid on him? Put him in a position where he has to take him, or put a bid in there that you would be okay with taking, but it forces his hand to pay an extra $10-20 more than what he would otherwise have done, because everyone else has got their keepers majority as a majority set. So there's a lot of games played, a lot of strategy involved in it, and it really is a fun part, the RD silent bidding.
Absolutely. No, big fan. Big fan. And look, as we go through all these episodes, the more stuff painting a better picture with the fabric, not sponsored by Dixon Flannel, but just more
Dixon
context. Dixon Bamboo. Oh, settle down. Dixon Synthetic. But we've said really early at kicking off this episode, and even before we started recording Prime, I'm big on the context here, because for those among us, somehow potentially who aren't actually part of the league, but they're watching along, which is super exciting. But that's the thing, trying to broadcast a little bit of what we do, because we think it is really special and unique, giving you guys a better understanding of how it all works.
Exactly.
And then, as we refine what we do each week, that picture is better painted. We just dive straight in. You're armed with the information, and we just go from there. Yeah,
that's
so
it.
Super exciting.
And I would like to hear from anyone who is even remotely interested in what a Squeaks League would look like. And if you are, show your interest to us. Drop a comment on any one of our videos, or on our DM us on our Instagram,
Absolutely.
and let us know if you would play this game, play this format.
Oh, look, it's a great package. I think that'd be super fun. I think if that's something that we could actually get out there, people have as a template they could use. And you touched on it before. You mentioned the Constitution. We do have a Constitution for our league, and it's look. Some of us have read it. I haven't. How many pages is the Constitution, Ryan?
At last count, 48 pages. Actually, that's probably including version control. Let me just check. Yes, there's version control on Squeaks Galari's Constitution.
Oh boy!
It's probably around. Let's just say it's around the 34, 35 page mark. So that will define.
But that defines
our format from end to end.
But that's the thing. That's then something that you can package. If people want to start using this as a format, as a template. But if I'm talking to someone, whether they are aware of fantasy sports or not, it's one of the things I mention because you say to someone whatever they're doing, whether it be sports or literature or whatever, music. We've got a rule set for what we do that's 40 pages long for something that we do on an app on a phone a couple of times a week. You say that to people and they go, "Oh shit, that's pretty full on." It's like, yeah, it is.
Yeah, well, that's what happens.
That's why we do it. It's everyone getting carried away, but for good reason.
That's what happens awesome when you get 16 athletes in a room and say play a game. And everyone goes, all right, cool. How are we going to make this like real competitive and really intense and real fun? And oh no, you're going to exploit the rules, so we need to put some boundaries around that. You're going to exploit that rule. And look, in fairness,
it's going to be real fun, but it's also got to be real serious.
Yeah.
And there's got to be lots at stake, but it's still going to be really fun at the same time. And then everyone needs to know who won.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then you got to work really hard the next time because they're going to get better.
And the people who lose have to know that they lost, and they have to be reminded over time that they lost and that they continue to lose.
and thusly the cycle begins again.
It does.
But look, I love it. It's just I'm excited. I'm excited to spread the good word of Squeaks in terms of what we do.
So am I. So, as I said before, anyone interested, drop us a comment, and we will guide you through what that looks like. And if you're interested, we can tell you and show you how that all works.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think we'll touch on, seeing as though we're talking about RDs and rookies, we will touch on the rookie performances as we go through week 3. That's coming up shortly, but we can roll into news if you're comfortable.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, going hot off some of today's results because we're recording this on the 11th of November in Australia, so still the 10th, I suppose, evening of the 10th. Some great games today, a couple of overtime finishes. Some really exciting results. The league's in full steam now.
Thank you, Andrew Wiggins. Thank you.
Yeah, with the alley-oop to seal it, which was super fun. But yeah, look, the standings are starting to kind of find their rhythm and find their shape. We've got some teams that are absolutely flying high. The Pistons. Obviously you've got the Thunder. Doing what they're doing. I think they're like 10-1 or something.
10-1, yep.
Pistons 9-2, dude. They are absolutely firing.
Oh, so in the East, you've got Detroit, Cleveland, and look, we knew Cleveland was going to be up there. Detroit are firing on all cylinders. Man, our man Jalen Duren and also Cade Cunningham just beasting at the moment. Aside from the fact that Cade had like 45 shots or something today.
46 points off 45 shots or something like that.
Yeah, he was almost playing. He's almost playing Squeaks and trying to get negative one every time.
Yeah, from an efficiency standpoint, not great. Yeah, but total end product still very good.
Still very good. 61 fantasy points today. Actually, that was pretty handy by young Cade.
Literally.
And news to your ears, the Knicks making some silent headway up the ladder in third from my last check. Is that correct?
Looking here, actually second in the East, so they're 6-3. It's just, I think, probably because they've got a couple of games in hand, I suppose. Yep. But look. Having been so incredibly lucky to watch them play in person right at the start of the season, they've got some bits and pieces they need to figure out from a strategic standpoint. But Anunoby is just going nuts. I think the likes of Brunson and Cat kind of had some quad stuff to start the season. Brunson still yet to hit his straps really, has had some solid games. To be in the position they're in now, with a lot more left in the tank. There's a lot more for some of those guys recovering from some niggles and bits and pieces like that, finding their rhythm. Yeah, in a good spot.
Yeah, that's great.
the flip side of that, I mean, the Pacers, let's not forget, though, just quickly, because I was looking through some of those scores, pushed by the Wizards today, who are complete other end of the table. So they're like 1-10. The Wizards are just, there's question marks everywhere in terms of what on earth they're doing. But I think any other day, regardless of where you are on the table, that kind of that narrow, that median where teams are going to be competitive on any other day, for the most part, let's subtract maybe like the Nets. Maybe they're going to be hugely competitive probably, but some of these teams, they can still put up a solid fight on any kind of given day. And it's been great to watch. It's been really, really fun.
Yeah, it has been. And just following up some of those results, OKC 10-1 in the West, and doing amazing things without Jalen Williams, mind you, which is a pain point for myself for my Squeaks team. But Chet, Shai, Mitchell, they just go, it's next man up. Like a few guys are dropping off with injury, and they're just pulling people off the pine and pulling big contributions and continually winning. So it's been good to watch.
Absolutely. Yeah, look, it has absolutely. Going to be really interesting to see. The Bulls, I think, are a great example. They have started so incredibly well, way above anyone's expectations. Let's see what happens as the season starts to draw out, whether they can maintain that momentum. They obviously have the underpinnings of a great roster. Let's see if they can keep it up. Some of the teams that are playing the way we know they will, that's obviously really good. But then there certainly have been some surprise packets. The Rockets being just ridiculously tall. They've capitalised on that. But yeah, let's look. For the most part, to be expected, but the surprise ones have made things really interesting, and we just get to see what happens from here.
Yeah, that's it. I'll just touch on
absolutely.
some injury news. I'm just going to list out a few at the moment. I'll get you, Cowie, to pick who you want to talk about first. One of them's probably close to your heart, but we had Giddy with a minor ankle, as he got actually did it getting crossed over, which was
he actually did he?
Yeah, he totally went to plant his foot on the crossover, rolled his ankle, hit the deck.
Who was it that crossed him up again?
I'd have to go back on it. I couldn't quite remember myself, but it was pretty.
Try and find the clip.
Pretty hilarious.
An actual ankle breaker is like,
literally.
He's done his ankle. Oh, dear.
I think it's only minor, so he shouldn't be out too long, if at all. Bilal Koulibaly out with a calf. We got Cam Thomas, hamstring 3 to 4 weeks. Jordan Poole, 7-10 days at a minimum with a quad. We have your boy Harper with calf out for a matter of weeks, and Bam Adebayo still out with a toe. We thought that could have been very short term, but it's been 4 games at the moment, and I'm not quite sure when he's due back. So they're the main ones off my my quick run through.
Look, unfortunately, an increasing frequency of these injuries so far, and I went off on it last episode for good reason, I reckon, because it's just, that's more so on the reporting side of things. But even then, the number of injuries has been absolutely crazy so far, but a number of them are calves and hammies, which you just can't rush back. They're always going to be, not so much indefinite, but you just can't put a proper timeline on them because they're ready when they're ready. If you come back too soon, then you get in more strife. And I think, Cooper Flagg even kind of got a bit of a thumb injury, I think, earlier today, like a thumb sprain or something. Jared Allen, another one of the guys on my roster, like fractured his thumb or his finger. So some of these little niggly ones as well that aren't like larger scale injuries, but they can still affect your efficiency and ability to actually play properly with the dexterity that you need. Devin Vassell going down as well. Bradley Beal still kind of umming and ahhing, iffy as to whether he's going to play kind of day by day. Sabonis copped a knock the other day as well, so he's kind of managing it. Anthony Davis still well and truly out. I mean, the Mavs are in some serious trouble.
That's a good segue too. You mentioned Davis, so a couple there. We had some injury / rest to Siakam, Jalen Johnson and Davis out, but Davis set to return very imminently. He's returned back to questionable, and Jalen Johnson actually, funnily enough, came back today, much to the disgust of Darcy, who was checking his checking status updates right up until about 15 seconds before the game, and nothing occurred. Game got locked out 15 seconds after the lockout occurred, and dropped the injured tag, and he was playing. So
See, that's what I mean. That was Norman Powell for me last week. I did see, shout out to Julian. He went off on one in the chat the other day. I can't remember exactly who it was, but the exact same thing.
Yeah.
They just removed the injury tag like 14 microseconds before the game starts. It gets locked out. You can't do anything about it. You can't capitalise on it.
It's tricky, yeah.
Yeah, tricky, but just shit at the same time.
Tricky to manage in the scenario that we've been faced with. Ridiculous from a reporting perspective, considering that, as we said, sports gambling and fantasy are big components of what the world of basketball, football, any other sport is at the moment. The reporting needs to get a little bit better. We know that. Look, I'll take it for today. That's 32 points that Darcy doesn't need with his death lineup. So screw you, Darcy. I hope I win by 31 points.
That's it. Look, I even dared Darcy, and he would have won comfortably. Still, I kind of hope he would have done it. It would have made things a little bit interesting.
Tell me your dare. Go on. Tell me your dare.
His lead over me in the last week's matchup was so much. I said, "Hey, dude, put it in the chat. How about you just bench everyone for the last 2 days of the week? Because even if you did, if your score stayed the same now, I can't even reach that with my grand total. Do you want to just make things a little interesting, spice it up, and just bench them all?" He didn't. He didn't. Which is really sad.
He wants that points for. Upset. He wants that points for, and he wants that minor premiership, which is something that is is very valuable in our league. So, look, I can understand why he should have set the line.
And look, I mean, I should have just drafted a better team, probably, I think is the equivalent comeback. But
hey, were you excited a couple of weeks ago? Come on, Matthew.
I was. Look, it's all gone, mate. It's gone. A couple of weeks in, everyone's injured. It's like, start again. Fire sale next week.
Self-confessed bringer of toxicity to the group chat.
Hey, mate, I have not shied away from that. Self-confessed and very... Look, I'm quite. It's my secret shame. Absolutely a rage dropper and or trader. It's just I crack the shits like, nope, done with you, out. See you later. Look, it's not been fun. I suppose if we did cram in a make him pay segment, I'd probably put myself up for a nomination. Tried to capitalise on the Pacers injury situation and try to bring in Quentin Jackson. And at the time that I made a claim for him on waivers, very healthy, very able-bodied.
Very able-bodied.
The day got away from me, such as work and, Australian local time and stuff like that. By the time I actually got to check, he'd done a calf or something, and then I hadn't even thought about it because, mad, not a problem. I got in Quentin Jackson. Cool, not a problem. That'll help. While my other guys are injured, done nothing. I ended up dropping him again and picking back up the player I had.
Oh.
So, Miles McBride, I really am very sorry. Please don't get too upset. But you're back where you belong now. I've learned my lesson for now.
And there we have it.
So,
We've got
I'd probably
week
put myself
4
in the running.
Week 4 nomination for the Make Him Pay award goes to Matthew Cowie for his IR waiver selection.
Victim of my own failure. Look, such is Squeaks, I think, is going to be one of our other slogans. But look, going through week 3 as a result, do you want to do a bit of a breakdown of some of the scores, mate? How did it all end up for all of our matchups in the league?
Break down the eight Squeaks matchups and the top 3 performers in each matchup, and then I'll get you to go through top 10 for week 3, if that's cool. So I'll put my matchup first. So it was Ryan with a total of 616 against Jake 665.5. So look, I thought I was in with a shot there. 2 days out, hitting into the weekend, and I had the I had the player advantage in terms of games played. All I needed was a solid Saturday to put me up a reasonable amount. I would have been able to hit the waivers on the last day and put myself in with a shot. And Bam Adebayo is out. Suddenly, Khalil Ware is Superman for a day. Suddenly, Hami Haquez is... doing his best. How would you say, Jokic impersonation, dropping close to a triple double. And Jake kept in in close proximity on that day. I couldn't build a big enough lead, and he steamrolled me on the last day to win by approximately 50 points. So the top three players in that matchup were Jalen Duren, 152.5. Hami Haquez, 90 points. My God, this guy was close on $1 crab in our draft. Maybe he went for just a few bucks. And, in the top two for our matchup. And OG Anunoby from my side coming in there at position number 3. I had a very balanced matchup, but could not fight the combination of Duren and Haquez. Of all people to not be able to come up against.
Unfortunately all the people to lose to. But Anunoby, I mean, some of the guys you've got, like the firepower. Anunoby's been amazing so far this season, just as a Knicks fan, watching a lot more of that. He's been doing literally everything. He's been scoring, assisting, rebounding. He's been an absolute powerhouse.
Steals, blocks, everything. Yeah, he's across the board, so he's been very good. But so there we go. Pushes me to 2-1. I think Jake's at 2-1 as well, and away we go. Matchup 2 is TJ at 659. Came up against Kane. Kane got the win with 748. Big score from Kane. The top three in that matchup, believe it or not, the first on that rankings is Isaiah Hartenstein with a total of 140. Plus there. That's for TJ. So, top performer in a losing side. And then we've got Josh Giddey at 106 and Eamon Thompson at 102 for Kane. So, he had some big performers over 100, multiple. I think he had 3 actually over that 100 mark, which was fantastic for him. And the main reason he got up.
Yeah, look, having guys score that much, a number of dudes, if you can crack 100 odd, for a week, that's a big foundation that's going to put you in a proper spot. Absolutely.
Yeah. Matchup 3, we've got the effervescent Adam, who just cracked the 600 mark, against Julian, and this is my surprise matchup of the week. Julian gets the win with 641. Cowie, what's going on here? Like, I called out Julian for such a rubbish draft. I poleaxed him basically in week 1 on a short matchup, and suddenly he's just getting scores from the most random players.
And he went scorched earth in the chat as a result too, and rightly so. Earned the privilege of telling us all where we could go and jam it. But it's got some guys being very productive at the moment. Definitely a surprise for this week.
He certainly does. And the top performers there, obviously we've got Kane Cunningham for Adam at 131, Devin Booker at 83 and Drummond at 79. And I think we've got correct me if I'm wrong, a Kelly Oubre sighting in that matchup. Was that?
I believe we did. Yeah. A mythical Oubre sighting.
An early season romp by Kelly Oubre. For context here, Kelly Oubre is one of TJ's my guys from years ago, along with the old Aaron Gordon. And it pains him to see fantastic performances every time he is matched up against him. Now, look, Kelly Oubre and Squeaks I'd consider him a. He's one of those guys. You ever watch those betting duck races? He will fly off in week 1 and he will hit hard for the first 10 metres and then he'll drop off and finish at the back of the pack by the end. This is what he does.
Yeah.
This is what he does in Squeaks. This is what he does in the NBA. He'll come out of the gates hot. He's dropping doubles left, right, and centre. And mid-season he'll drop off the face of the earth. He'll probably fall off a BMX bike or something. And I don't know. He'll hurt himself. But he'll
pop his feet up once he's like, no, I've got a contract for next year.
That's it. So he's got Julian across the line. So somehow Julian's sitting up in the in the top half of the standings after we all thought he was going to be plumb last. So yeah, good on him.
Absolutely. No, I think by the looks of things, he's 2-1, sitting in 7th. So definitely made his way up the ladder for sure.
That's right. All right. Matchup 4, we have Morgan at 7:39. Absolutely demoralising Ben at 555. Now, we don't need an introduction on this guy, but he is the Joker. He is the best performer for last week, and he is the best performer for Morgan's team. 238 points for the week. Come on.
Just somehow continues to outdo himself from a production standpoint.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. The he's just everywhere.
Everyone's sitting there trying to predict the next up-and-comer, the next high upside guy, and everyone just keeps forgetting that the Joker keeps dropping doubles like this.
Still here.
Yeah, still here. Still going to score 50-something fantasy points.
Yep.
Still going to drop a triple-double. Still pushing Denver up into the top 2 in the West. Yeah, he just does it all.
Crazy.
And,
he does.
Morgan's now got the benefit of seeing what owning Jokic is like in our league. He had Joker at 238, combined with Maxey at 126, and I think Ben's top scorer was the third place at Miles Turner at 92. So a bit of a drop off there, and you can see the reason why he won by so much.
Just didn't have the production. Ben doing it real tough at the moment. 0-3.
Yeah.
Bringing up the rear in the league, unfortunately, at the minute, but still relatively early days for the season.
Good to see some of these expansion guys getting some wins.
Well, yeah, look, I mean, you talk about Maxey really quick, with that whole situation in Philly, Embiid playing maybe 45 minutes for the rest of the season. Maxey's really stood up. Big time. Yeah. He started the season incredibly well. Some of the guys there taking those opportunities with more usage. He's absolutely one of them. He
has. I hope it continues, to be honest, because he was on a heater for a while there last season, and I think injury derailed that. But yeah.
Yeah, for sure. No, they kind of just fell apart a little bit. A number of teams that all kind of happened to the last couple of years. It's pretty unfortunate, but no, he's doing really well.
Yeah, all right. And matchup 5, we have yourself, Matthew Cowie at 614. Unfortunately, copping the L, like you said at the start of this pod, to Darcy with the weekly high score of 858. Sorry to say, Matt. Giannis, Shai, and Saar have copped the top 3 positions with 154, 150, 145, and 115. So yeah, he's.
I never stood a chance. There's not really too much to touch on. I think streets away ahead of the second highest total score for the week. Yeah. So Darcy just swinging for the fences. When the guys hit, they hit real hard.
Let him ride his early form.
Surprised at least. Look, he can. I was absolutely helpless, but at least, the smallest kind of consolation. I had a couple of good scores. Jared Allen coming back from his injury, ended up with a higher score than was originally projected. So hey, look, that's something. A couple of guys overperformed, which is good.
Schedule's a big one in our league. We talk about quality games on days where there's limited NBA games being played. The impact of that is extrapolated by our 7-player roster, active roster on any one day. So we're not talking about 10 odd players on a roster. We're talking about 7. With that, you don't get massive scores on those non-quality days because you can still only field 7 players. But you will see a lot of guys play on that on the non-quality games game day, and then when you flip over to those Tuesdays, Thursdays, and the quality quality games really impact, it actually really boosts your score. Now, Darcy has selected through the draft and through his keepers a roster that really benefits from early season schedule. So whether that's by design or not, I will leave that up to him to respond to that. But he does have some really positive benefits to the schedule. OKC are hitting the off days very regularly. Milwaukee have some early quality game days as well. So I think that's propping up some of those scores as well, because you get that extra game from your superstars.
Definitely some differentiators, as Eric likes to call them. But big time. Look, just capitalising on what's been given to him in terms of the players he's taken and the roster he's built. Yeah, he's definitely riding high, dude. He's doing well.
Certainly is. And moving on to matchup 6, 3 more to go. Chris gets the win. CJ with a 725.5 over Cole 641. Decent scores by both. I've got here Nick Claxton, the highest scorer for CJ. Man, he's got Wemby on his team, he's got Doncic on his team, and I've got a 115 from Nick Claxton.
Doesn't even need him to top score.
Yeah, I think the reason of that is games played for the week. Doncic had about 70, 80 points for the week, but I think he was on limited games played. So throw another one in there, and he would have broken that. But that was. You've got Wemby, you've got Doncic, and you're still getting 100 plus from a player like Nick Claxton. There's a few oddballs on Chris's team that are starting to put some early season markers down. So Claxton was one for this week and helped him get across the line with his limited games played from his superstars.
Yeah. PJ Washington's probably another one I think ended up with just shy of 100 points.
Yeah, exactly.
For that matchup. Look, he's drafted well. He knows what he's doing. So the team's in good
don't
shape.
tell Eric he drafted well. Come on, we'll need another response from someone.
Eric's got beads of sweat coming down his brow at that comment. But testament too, he doesn't need the likes of Wemby and Doncic having big game weeks. They can still contribute heftily from a handful. He's got guys that'll back him up.
That's good.
In a really good spot as well. I think, look, Darcy and CJ are probably kind of the two at the minute. There's a couple other guys definitely in the running, but they're really kind of swinging their proverbials around at the moment, making it known. So, they're the top two for me.
Yeah, very good. And look, just coming up in position 2 and 3 for the highest performers for that matchup, we've got Denny Avdia and Donovan Mitchell at 110 and 108. So Cole's still getting some decent 100-plus performers out of that matchup, which is putting him in good stead for the rest of the season, even though he hasn't got too many wins on the board. So, solid performance, just didn't quite get the dub. Okay. Matchup 7. All right, we've got a bit of a Slav showdown here. Our Sydney-based David with 579, riding high off a few early wins, talking a lot of smack, has been defeated by Eric with 681. Now, I've only put 2 players on this list because both rosters were very balanced. There wasn't a third player that really shone. So Alperen Şengün with the 125 propped up Eric's score, and Derek White coming through with the goods at 96.5 for David. But I think he's he hit a couple of injuries with Austin Reeves and some games played, and Eric cruised to victory in this one and let him know about it.
Oh, didn't he ever? Yeah, look, David definitely one of the expansion team managers coming into the league, but has made his presence felt. He's definitely one of the main contributors in the group chat for sure. Kind of keeps everything ticking along. He's always chucking something in, which is fun. But as the saying goes, the nail that sticks out gets hammered, and definitely leaves himself susceptible for that at the likes of Eric, who's pretty much a conversational sniper at the best of times. So he definitely let him know once he put him away. But look, I mean, David's still doing pretty well roster-wise. Very stoked with how he feels he's going with the team he's put together. Derek White making the best of a bad situation in Boston. There's going to be some guys like that. They've just they've got nothing left to do from a fantasy context. They just got to put up the numbers.
That's right.
Yeah, look, it's just a blip in the road for him. He'll be right to go for next week.
He will. He'll be fine. And look, a bit of a mantra for Squeaks is the engagement of managers now. There's a lot of fantasy leagues out there that are numbers based. Everything's about the performance. You don't really hear too much in a group chat. You set your lineups, you check your phone, you see what the score is. The essence and it's the theme of this pod, the fabric of the league, not brought to you by Dixon Bamboo. It's the fabric of the league is engagement, and we make the engagement in conjunction with the competitiveness year long. We handpick some of the guys or most of the guys that come into this league for their tendency to engage and just keep active within the league. It means more waiver pickups. It means less people available, more strategy. It means thought processes for trades. Yeah. It means off-season strategies with the RD bidding. It means everything. If you're not engaged with the league, in my eyes, it's not fun. So that's a shout out. That's a shout out to David coming in over the last couple of years. Very fresh, not playing a lot of fantasy, and just being willing to engage and make it fun for everyone. So good on you, mate.
Look, it having the traffic day to day just keeps absolutely engaged, keeps everyone involved, and there's always something to be getting stuck into, whether your team's doing well or not. There's always something fun going on in the chat, and it just keeps everyone ticking away. There's always something for everyone in there.
That's it, and it's always good to have another ball guy in the group. So,
look, strength in numbers, mate. Strength in numbers.
All right, and matchup 8, we've got Jeremy, mate. He's on a flyer. Sneakily drafted a solid team. He's got the win here with 693 over Brett. Poor old Brett. We'll hear from him soon. 493.5, mate. The lowest score for the week. Half his team's in hospital beds. Someone turned the aircon up on Davis. He's got to chill. He's just struggling. So, look, I'm hoping he gets a few of his big guys back, because we all know in this league, if we don't have our stars maximising games played, then you get burnt, and you get not only by a little bit, you get burnt by a lot. So the three big performers for Sticks there, or Jeremy, is Westbrook. Sorry, am I reading that right? 123 and a half.
Unbelievable.
Oh, Jesus. No one was going to sign him.
It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, can't believe it.
Carl Anthony Towns at 107 and Rudy Gobert at 106. So, solid 1, 2, 3 for Jeremy. Made a big imprint on his ladder position with that win. And, good on him. Yep. Good on him.
Yeah, so, dominated that one. So, with matchups kind of framed that way, again, in the interests of context, if we just want to try and add this in every week if I can, just rattle off a bit of a top 10, the top performers, basically a bit of a Squeaks power rankings. Give the billions of viewers at home a bit of an idea of who scores however much. Power ranking, king. So, look, we'll just rattle off a bit of a top 10, the big performers in the last 7 days in our league. Nikola Jokic is obviously going to be far and away there, just streets ahead of everyone else. Averaging at the moment 59 fantasy points over the last week. You got Jalen Duren averaging just shy of 41. So 1 to 2 in our league, that drop off. I mean, Jokic is just in a league of his own.
That's the difference between a player playing and the baseline waiver pickup, just over 10, right? Absolutely
right. So, and that's the thing. But in terms of total output as well, that's the average score per game. So Jokic has played 3 games in the last 7 days. Duren's played 4. Sometimes you'll see some of these guys, they manage to fit in 5 games a week. That's a massive bolster for your team. Cade Cunningham, so 2 Detroit players in the top 3 in our Squeaks power rankings. Cade's averaging 40.9. We've got SGA at 36.6, but no one cares about him. We've got Doncic at rounding out top 5, just same average score as SGA. Donovan Mitchell, 36.55 is his average.
That's big for him. He's had
big for him.
No Garland.
Yeah.
No Garland. Just running mad usage, and obviously Cavs rolling as well, so that helps.
Running mad usage and having some young kid on 2K talking smack, forcing him to kind of get all motivated and give him a bit of a tribute. So we don't talk shit to NBA players, basically, unless you want them to play really well.
Mate, I'll have another segment named after Donovan Mitchell if he bloody helps me win my matchup. Yeah.
I might have to do one for Harper to come back from his injury.
Yeah.
Giannis next. He's averaging 36.2 points a game at the moment. We've got Isaiah Hartenstein. For me, is a big surprise package. I think, given not a hugely valuable from a dollar standpoint player in our league, but is just dominating for the Thunder at the moment. He's averaging 35 fantasy points per game.
Wow.
We've got Denny Avdia averaging just over 35 fantasy points per game, and rounding out the top 10. Wemby's 11th, which is quite interesting. I mean, I think quite peaky in terms of the scores, but this is just in the last 7 days, so just a bit of a snapshot for power rankings. Wemby's 11th. Josh Giddey at the moment is still in the top 10, currently marked as out. Probably, whatever niggles he's kind of working on at the moment with his ankle. But, yeah, Giddey averaging 35, Wemby bonus points for 11, averaging 33.7. So
awesome, man. That's
painting a bit of a snapshot from there. If we want to do a little bit of a further deep dive into some scoring, Darcy very kindly chucks in our group chat every week. He keeps track of our rookies that we've drafted at the start of the season. Bit of a points breakdown on their production. Week 3, top contributors, we've got Adam, who drafted Kalkbrenner. He's averaging 25 fantasy points a game. So still really, really helpful, very productive, but a bit of a jump from the top 10 guys in the league. So, still definitely probably top 100, I'd say, for someone like Kalkbrenner, which for a rookie is absolutely nuts. VJ Edgecombe is averaging just over 12.2 this past week, but still second highest overall.
Yeah, I just want to jump in there. That's so his overall average for the year 17.95. So he was on a heater to start week 1 and week 2. He's dropped off a cliff a little bit. That's probably one of the reasons why that consistent scoring didn't fly in week 3 for David. But 12.2, bit of a drop off, but far out. If you can have a week at 12 points and still be averaging almost 18 as a rookie, that's
almost 18 as a rookie. That's so good. That's absolutely crazy. And look, you put that down to teething problems as a rookie, just trying to find your way through your team and how you're going to be contributing. That'll happen. He's still learning as he goes. Still very young. Brett drafted first this season, so the obvious one there, he was going to be grabbing Cooper Flag, which he did. He averaged a little bit over his season average. He averaged 17.2 this past week. Well, I suppose Prime, Mr. Ryan, your boy, Knappel, top performer this past week from the Rooks, averaging just shy of 27, which is absolutely nuts. A massive jump from his season average to date, which is under 16. So, big jump, finding his feet.
Mate, I know Eric will love me talking about my own team, but 26.75 in week 3 was big. He followed that up with a 36-point double-double today to lead my team on day 1 against Darcy. So huge. He was only 1 assist off a TD, and that would have obviously jumped up 10 bonus points plus the 1 assist. That's another 11. So we could have easily been on a 47-point game today with one play going his way. So huge. I was very surprised. Didn't expect that. I thought, spot up shooter, the occasional periphery stat here and there, bit of usage being on the Charlotte Hornets team, but
crazy.
No, that was amazing. Love it.
Absolutely crazy. We'll see if we can get better at doing this video editing side of things. I'll see if I can chuck this graphic up in the corner while we're
power rankings and rookie report. I love it.
Power rankings. We'll see if we can start adding that in. A couple other notable mentions. You got Queen from the Pelicans, starting to kind of move his weight around, getting a lot more productive there. He had a really solid week, averaging 19, which is a big jump up. You got Jeremiah Fears. averaging just under 11 for the week, a little bit under his season average. And then we got Clayton Jr. for CJ, still in the double-digit average, which for a rookie at any kind of benchmark for us is always been pretty solid in terms of a rookie for $1 averaging your 10 points a game.
Exactly.
Good old reliable. So, look, we've got all that plotted out there. We've got a couple of guys whose rookies still haven't played, whether it be injury or availability or, depth chart. That all plays a part.
Yep.
But for the most part, the guys that have drafted this year, and I didn't have Harper play this week just because of injuries, but before that, definitely one of the top rooks, which I was really happy with. But yeah, again, bit of a better snapshot, more context as to what the rookies are doing for us compared to some of the real high flyers and top players in this league.
Yeah, exactly. And it's looking like a top seven, potentially top 8 type rookie class that are going to be very valuable, with a couple of on the edge guys that could get up there depending on how the next part of their season goes. I think it's a pretty deep class from what we've seen over the last few years.
Absolutely, yeah.
But some of those lower end guys, we'll just have to monitor their minutes, because managers could be activating that bird rights scenario in instances where they're not getting enough game time, or not getting any game time at all. So we'll monitor that with intent, and see who gets dropped to the waivers for bird rights activation.
Beautiful, absolutely. Okay, do we want to touch really quickly on some of the matchups for week 4 in terms of the outlook for that?
Yeah, we can. We can. I know you wanted to talk a little bit about our good mate EO's lucky lottery. I don't know whether you want to touch on that now, or whether you want to give it its dues in a bit of a bigger segment.
You know what? Let's give it its dues, and then whilst we're playing that clip, I'll get a bit of homework and we'll get some of the names together. Just a
good.
Real quick little primer for week 4. But Brett very kindly put a little recording together for us. Just demanded a forum for him to justify his actions. Getting Dillingham off the waivers, for $6, which is just an absolutely outrageous spend. Our inaugural Make Him Pay of the Week winner. Please enjoy very brief clip now from Brett, trying to give us some kind of insight into his madness.
Thanks, guys, for making me the first ever Make Him Pay winner for your first segment prize. Don't know what I won other than just copping some mockery. That seemed to be the theme of that last episode. But look, I'll go past it because, hey, I deserve it. And with the rewards you guys are copping, I can deal with it. Speaking of deal, my $6 statement. Why did I pick Rob Dillingham? I did actually have him in my draft list as one of those dollar crabs. Unfortunately, I didn't pick him as a dollar crab, and I had it in my head that I thought, well, I don't trust Conley as the starting point guard. I thought he would end up being, injured as he always is. Yeah, I know about all the others, but I thought, well, they've just signed him got an extension on his rookie deal. He looked pretty good in the preseason. I thought if anyone's going to be potentially the starter for that point guard position, he might actually get it over Conley as the season progresses. But I thought he might at least come off the bench as that 6th, 7th man for that point guard, and maybe jag 10 to 13 points, and then hopefully progress from there. But game 1 when you don't play, I don't even think I waited to game 2. I was like, okay, if you're not even in the rotation, take the hit, and bloody big hit it was, and just pick up the next crap and see what I can do. There's no rhyme or reason why I chose $6. I think I actually had 8, would you believe, and then said, no, 6, and then I thought I was going to change it back to $4, and then I got caught up at work, and then $6 went through, and I got him. Clearly no one else wanted him, and I can see why when he's giving you donuts or even less than donuts. So, not the best of decisions in the end, but you live and die by these wave wire crabs. Sometimes you can either get a 50 or, in my case, stuff all. So I look forward to the next episode, guys, and when you can make another mockery with all the injuries I'm copping. Cheers.
So, thank you, Brett. Thank you for painting some context and giving us some kind of idea as to why on earth you'd waste that much money on that kind of player. But again, I think going through some of Brett's impact on the league, I think probably what else we want to touch on before we let everyone go. Brett had the inaugural, just celebrating the 10th anniversary of the league. He brought in a lottery basically for some perks and some penalties for each player in the league. And we called it, I'm pretty sure it was called the Wheel of Misfortune, wasn't it?
We've named it the
Wheel of Misfortune. We've dubbed it.
I think it's something like EO's Lucky Lottery or something.
Something like that. The Wheel of Misfortune's a way better name, so we can give him the credit for that.
Yeah.
Basically, super fun. Brett really got into it. Such a great character. Basically, had a little wheel, had the young fella involved, gave us all some perks and some penalties for each player throughout the season with some various time-related ones, some round-specific ones. So I'll power through a bit of a breakthrough of those, just some added flavour for what's going on for the season. And just, adds a little bit of excitement with some bits and pieces. I know mine, I'm going to have to probably address mine on the next episode, so at least I, 2 for 1, get the video evidence of what I've got to do. But some of them have been really fun, so I'll rattle through them really quick. Straight off the top, Ben, his reward, well, one of them, he had a +1 reward, so he gets an extra waiver wire edition, which is valid until week 9.
Nice.
But he also gets one called Seagull Chip Magnet, which is he gets to steal and match a waiver wire pickup during the regular season.
Nice.
That's going to cause grief, I reckon, that one.
So it's like a wild card, eh? Bang, I'm playing this.
100%, and I think everyone's just going to get caught by surprise when he chooses to do that. He hasn't done it yet.
Yep.
David's 2 rewards he got. His first one, he gets to add $2 to his waivers or roll an odd number. Basically, rolls a dice. If he gets an odd number, he gets to add $6. If he rolls even, he'll lose $2.
Oof.
So he can play the safe bet or play $2.
Mate, David, he's going to roll. He's going to roll.
David being the gambling man, I reckon he'll absolutely go for that. Yeah. His other one, which was a player-specific one, which is another one I didn't touch on just before. So his was a Nikola Jokic-specific perk, I suppose. But what it says here, when playing against Nikola Jokic, divide his highest daily fantasy score and upload a video of you eating the equivalent chicken nuggets to the group chat. Now, what Brett added in the chat earlier this afternoon, and I hope it actually does get enforced. He didn't actually act upon this within a pre-designated 3-day window, and we're trying to actually double or potentially triple the number of nuggets David has to eat because he's taking too long to do it.
Very good.
So we'll see what goes on there.
I just want to add in for that. This is our league specific. This is not a constitutional right of Brett to put this in. This is something we've built and through our many years of AGM and spitballing ideas, this is what we've come up with for this year. So the Wheel of Misfortune has dropped some unfortunate penalties on people, but look, not necessarily related in totality to fantasy scoring and fantasy matchups, but we'll allow it.
Oh, I love it. It just adds a little bit of silly season, I think. Eric's 2 perks he's got to deal with. His first one, his second rivalry round opponent can select his daily lineups for the week. Oh, is that you?
That is me.
Okay, so probably another thing, we have rivalry rounds. We have a couple of them interspersed throughout the season, and we get to kind of pick who we want those to be. So, Ryan, what do you get to do for that round against Eric?
Well, I believe it's set his matchup for a day, isn't it? It's,
100%. Yeah. Well, it says set his daily lineups for the week.
Oh, for the week. Oh.
It says for the week.
We better bank some wins because there's going to be some funky stuff happening that week.
That's going to be tough for Eric. His other one affectionately called Crab Dance. If he loses his week 7 matchup, so we're week 4, just heading into week 4 at the moment. If he loses his week 7 matchup, he's got to upload a video of himself to the group chat of him doing the crab dance for 20 seconds.
Oh,
if he wins, his opponent's got to do it.
Yeah.
So it's it's a little bit too even. Maybe should have been very one-sided. CJ's perks. His first one, he gets to apply a $5 discount to his 3A keeper for the season, which, God,
KOTD. KOTD. Anyway, you landed that one. Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Exactly right. Need we say more? His other one, Lululemon. In his first game of week 2, he has to pick Luka Doncic's under-over line for total points, rebounds, and assists. If he gets those numbers wrong, which that's going to be pretty tough. He's got to upload a video to the group chat of him taking a bite out of a lemon and saying the words Lululemon. So actually, we could probably go and try and find that clip at some point. Maybe chuck it on the socials if we get his consent to.
Yeah, consent.
Sign an NDA or something, maybe, CJ. We might have to try and get Lululemon as a sponsor as well. I mean, let's just bring more people into the fold.
Why not?
From what I recall, I think it was CJ having to cop some lemons in the mush, so that wasn't particularly fun for him. Ryan, have you got a recollection of your 2 perks you got to deal with this season?
I know of one of them. I'll let you know that one. So it is for this week. It is week 4, and it is. I've got it down a cheeseburger for every double my opponent drops this week. So my God, I'm playing Darcy, the top scorer in the league, the guy with the most superstars, and of all players, Giannis Antetokounmpo, who essentially doubles every game. I'm not looking forward to it. Look, I will say, day 1 has been kind. Giannis didn't double. There was a 9 for one of his other players, and he's landed with 2 double-doubles for day 1. I've got 6 days to go, and I'm only on 2. So let's keep trucking. Otherwise, I'm going to need to spread out that meal. So.
Oh boy, it's tough. Deary me. Yeah. Okay. So look, you're going to be. Maybe practice, maybe do a bit of carb loading or something. Let's just kind of fast for the next couple of days and just cop it all at the end of the match.
I think we'll be using some video editing to plug that one all together. There is not a chance that I am downing that amount of cheeseburgers in
Both of yours are food related, actually.
I know.
Your other one. So for week 6, for every assist your team gets during that matchup, your opponent. So it must upload a video of them to the group chat eating the corresponding amount of sour Skittles, which that's going to be particularly rough.
Yep.
Jeremy Stixie, his 2 perks. His first one, he gets to apply a $10 discount to his 3A keeper for the following season.
That's a golden
egg. That's
stout.
Yeah. That's really, really handy. His other one, which I can see here a couple of times, a couple of people have copped this one. So Pascal Siakam is going to be a bit of a featured player for some of these
spicy.
perks. This one here, that's spicy. If Pascal Siakam scores 25 fantasy points or under in his first game in week 3, you must upload a video to a group chat of you eating a chili chosen by league members. If he scores over 25 fantasy points, your opponent must do it.
Very good.
And I believe for either Stixie or TJ, one of the 2 gents that had this perk, one of them resulted in Brett, unfortunately, adding insult to injury and having some chilies, which he had a particularly fun time with.
Oh, yes, he told me all about it. Oh, it was great.
Dear. Look, what I'll do, just so we don't go way overtime with the pod, I'll go through the second half of these next week.
Definitely.
We'll call it the halfway point. Cole at number 8, his 2 perks. His first one, he's got trade or claim. He's got the option to trade for or waiver wire claim a rookie and keep him on a rookie contract. So it's kind of like a bit of a bird rights perk, touching on what we were talking
double bird
about
rights,
earlier.
basically.
Yeah, double bird. Yeah, double bird. Flip the double bird. His other one, he's got a coupon, so he gets to apply a $5 discount to his 3A keeper. So another one very similar to CJ's. Some of these getting really interesting. We'll get stuck into the second half of these in the next pod. But outside of that, mate, I think, how are you feeling for your matchup for week 4?
Week 4, look, I'm almost resigned to the fact that I can't stop the train that is Darcy, but look, I would like to compete for as long as possible. Today was a good example of it. Hope that continues, and look, he's got to lose at some point, right?
Certainly hoping so. Whoever's going to somehow be able to do the unthinkable and upset the apple cart. The Darcy CJ showdown, when that turns up next, I think that'll be nice. The battle of the Titans for sure.
That'll be nice.
Look, personally, my matchup, I'm going up against Brett. So we're two cellar dwellers doing it tough with injury. So it's going to be a little bit of a slugfest.
Injury Bowl 2.
Injury Bowl 2, yeah, true. Well, geez. Look, projection-wise, looking decent. We'll see. I'm really hanging out for Paul George and Tyler Hero to come off my injury reserve.
As we all know, it doesn't matter how wins come in Squeaks, as long as you get a few of them on the board. There'll be weeks where the matchup's not good. There'll be weeks where you got some overperforming guys. There'll be weeks where you hit an injury-laden team. Just get it done, because trading opens up. There's opportunity to build your team. There'll be teams that are stressing early and be wanting to unload for next season. There'll be a whole bunch of activity, and you just need to retain some balance. You just need to retain a positive win-loss record, and second half of the season comes after that. Don't stress too early.
Once the trade window opens, it's on for young and old. If you can just manage to get yourself in the running, absolutely. So still very early days.
That's right.
But look, we'll see how we go projection-wise. Looking positive at the moment, so we'll see if the guys can perform. Probably the big one to keep an eye on, and we'll see how it plays out in the next pod, would be Eric's going up against CJ this week. So we've obviously spoken quite a bit about CJ's team and Darcy's team and the scoring potential they have. Eric has actually got the highest potential, the highest projected score for this coming week. So he's projected to score north of 800 points, which is stout.
Yeah, definitely at this part of the season. Yep.
Absolutely, that'll be a big scalp if he can pip CJ this week. But you just don't know what the likes of Wemby can do on any given occasion, and Doncic as well. So that one's absolutely going to be one to keep an eye on over the next couple of days.
Definitely.
Outside of that, I think a lot of really evenly matched matchups with some of these guys. I still need to kind of get better at memorising whose team is
team
who
names.
based on
Yeah,
the
we'll
team
get
name
better.
they've got. We'll refine that process a bit later. That one's on me.
We'll get better, and we'll get better at some graphics as we go along as well. Build in some graphics so we can talk to these with a bit of a picture. So
Absolutely, but from there, Prime, I reckon if you want to segue us out, I think that's about everything.
That is, and
we've got a lot of basketball to get stuck into.
Oh, I love it. Thanks for all your work on that one. That was excellent. Look, as I said, connect with us. Probably say it in the context of Squeaks. Squeaky wheel gets a response. Be that squeaky wheel, guys. Be that squeaky wheel. Make a comment, ask a question, engage with us. We'd love to hear from you. So subscribe at Squeaks Galari on YouTube and at Squeaks Fantasy on Insta. Help us out. And look, just a teaser for the next pod or two. We will build into what our rivalry round matchups look like, the nuances of them, and how a team can benefit. That's going to be coming up pretty shortly, and we'll start introducing the managers. Manager profiles will be fed in one by one as we work through the next few pods, and you can get a little bit of a rundown on the guys that are in our league, what their background is, what they're like. How much of a pain in the arse they are, and
correct.
How many times Matthew and I have both beaten them. So
yes. Look, you probably a fair more times than I have, but still, look, it's going to be super fun. Start to introduce all these guys to you again. Yeah, super
Definitely.
keen to have everyone involved. I think all the guys in the league too. the reception we've had from them. I mean, we're having great fun doing this, but they're really enjoying it as well, which is great for us. So, shout out to the guys in the chat in the league. Thanks for tuning in. For those who haven't subscribed yet, we know who you are.
Yeah, we know who you are. We're going to call you out. We're going to make a point of it. The wheel of misfortune might be tapped into again, so hit the button. Don't be a pain. And on that note, thanks Cowie. Excellent work. Been loving it, and we'll leave it for today.
Absolutely, dude. Thank you, Prime. Big thank you to everyone. We'll see you on the next one.
See you, mate.